All right, so Frank Turek just called out Candace Owens. And let me just say this. As someone that's been tracking this Candace Owens debacle since the Charlie Kirk assassination, I'm going to be honest. I feel like it's just me out here. I feel like it's me and John McCrae, what do you mean, making absolute bangers on the Candace Owens things. Okay, so let's just jump right into this video. This is from Frank Turek. Now, if you don't know who Frank Turek is an apologist. He was one of the people that was there with Charlie Kirk when he was assassinated in the car, trying to get him to the hospital. He's a friend of the channel. He has done a ton of conversations at college campuses. Overall, stellar guy. And he was asked recently about this Candace Owens situation and leaned right into it. Name-checked her, the whole bit. Chef's kiss. Check it out.
It sucks too, because you listen to people like Candace Owens, like right now with her conspiracy theories and stuff, and like, I don't know, man, I'm getting more and more thinking the best thing that could happen to humanity is the internet could go down.
Yeah, as soon as we lose Wi-Fi, we're all upset, but that might be the best thing that happens to us. By the way, I haven't followed a lot of what Candace Owens has done.
Oh, we have. Yeah, we've been following all of it.
But I will say what I have seen, there's a difference between a possibility and evidence for a possibility. You can speculate on anything you want, but unless you have evidence, shut up.
Woo, he said it. He said it. Hey, I mean, listen, Frank Turek's words are substantially stronger than mine. That's what he said. I didn't say it. He said it. But he's onto something unless you have evidence for something. And what is the evidence that we have seen from Candace Owens? We've seen some text messages that were addressed by Turning Point. We have seen just her hunches. She doesn't know, but she knows.
We did run out of the new tumbler, but we restocked it. So we don't know, but we know. We have that back up in stock. We just added that today.
That's the evidence. The evidence is, trust me, bro.
Okay, because all you're doing is causing dissension among the brothers, which is something the Lord hates. If you want to present a possibility and say, well, this could be true. Okay, it could be true. But don't accuse people for doing something for which you have no evidence.
Okay, now again, if you guys haven't seen John McCrae's video, he had an amazing banger, the What Do You Mean channel, with J. Warner Wallace, who's a detective, and he talks about how in different cases there are possibilities of all kinds of stuff that happens, but that is not how you come to a beyond a reasonable doubt conclusion on something. And so he talks about when they're picking witnesses for juries that they say, hey, if you need every single question answered, you're probably not going to be a good juror witness because there's something impeding on your thinking regardless a reasonable conclusion. So that's what Frank Turek is getting at here regarding the whole Charlie Kirk assassination. There's all kinds of stuff that's possible. Anything is possible, but what's reasonable and what can be proven with evidence. And by the way, not all evidence is for everybody with regarding the FBI investigation, because if they give you everything they have, that can potentially mess up their own case. That could also signal to some of the people that they may be looking at that could be accessories after the fact that can also provide them a defense ahead of time before they're indicted. So that's why the FBI doesn't just give everybody everything. That's not how investigations work. But let's let Frank keep cooking.
I heard today, I guess I hadn't seen it myself, but I heard today she was judging people who didn't act the right way. I don't know if anyone's seen this video. She, according to Candace Owens, these people did not act the right way after Charlie's death. Like my friend Mikey McCoy, the brilliant 24-year-old who at the time when Charlie was shot was 23.
Okay, this is what Frank Turek is referring to Candace Owens talking about McCoy. Okay, check this out.
Mikey, in less than a second, does something that I find to be quite strange. He puts his phone to his ear and he begins a conversation. Mikey didn't have time to dial, okay? You can't dial and put your phone to an ear in 0.834 seconds. The next time that you're going to see Mikey McCoy, as we just showed you, is in just under 2.5 seconds on the other side of the tent. So when this clip was brought, that seems automatic, right? 0.834, that seems pretty quick. No, he doesn't do that. We even have him in front of Charlie's car. When Charlie is brought to the car, the waiting car rather, he is still on the phone. And I can show you the clip of that. Take a look at this. Don't worry, we'll slow it down for you. See him in the background with the backpack. The only logical conclusion that we come up with was that Mikey was already on a phone call at 12:23 p.m., by 12:23 p.m. And I want to be clear, we're not here to make assumptions, okay? And we wouldn't have to make any assumptions if Turning Point USA could just tell the truth.
So she says she doesn't want to make assumptions, but that's literally what she just did in that clip. And why is this dangerous? Well, first of all, this could be alluding or insinuating that an innocent man, a friend of Charlie, somebody that worked with him, could be in on it. And again, there's enough crazies on the internet, like we saw with the Texas man recently arrested because he thought Seth Dillon from the Babylon Bee and all these other people were in on the conspiracy to assassinate Charlie Kirk. Meaning that these insinuations, this approach of just asking questions is not without consequences. There are ripple effects to this. Outside of folks like Frank Turek, who personally knew and were close to Charlie, and Charlie's friends and the folks who worked with him, this has the possibility of impacting crazy people in the name of just asking questions that can then go on to bring actual harm, or at the very least, we've seen threats of it. And that is why I'm not going to back down from this. The Candace Owens stans aren't going to bully me into being quiet because, oh, this is not a nice video. Can you just get back to talking about Jesus? I think these are important conversations to have because as people are coming to the faith, especially post Charlie Kirk assassination, our church is packed, record attendance every week. There are going to be people that are looking around, seeing the landscape and being radicalized with some of this crazy thinking regarding what is real and what isn't real. Okay, let's get back to Frank Turek.
And was a hero that day. He apparently didn't act the right way, according to Candace Owens. He didn't act normal. Newsflash, there is no normal when you're in shock. There is no normal when an abnormal thing happens. Some people are going to act one way, other people are going to act another way. You don't know how you would react.
The most despicable part of acting normal, quote unquote, is the attacks, not by Candace Owens yet. Hopefully she won't go this low, but other people on the internet going after Erica Kirk because she smiled at the memorial, because she appeared on the Charlie Kirk show and was telling stories and laughing. And saying that's not normal and that's not how a widow acts a week or two after her husband is taken from her. That is utterly despicable.
I didn't know how I would react. The only reason that I did what I did is because I thought about it beforehand. I was afraid somebody would take a shot at Charlie. And I thought to myself, if it does happen, what am I going to do?
And by the way, remember, the initial reports were that Frank Turek was in on the conspiracy because he was standing next to Charlie and rubbed his ear or something like that. This was going mega viral. He had to go online the day of or the day after and dispel this nonsense. Okay, so again, this approach of insinuating and just asking questions is not without a ripple effect. Okay, so he says that he thought about this and this is how he was able to be prepared and do everything he can to help Charlie after that.
And what I wanted to do would do anything I could to save him. In that sense, if it had to happen, I was glad I was there because now I know there's nothing I could have done. Nobody could have done anything. He was gone already. We learned that later when we got, looking at him, I thought he was gone, but it was verified when we got to the hospital. But don't say that because I'm observing, psychologists know you can't even get in somebody's head when they're on the couch.
Yeah, but you have Candace making definitive statements in the name of just asking questions because of her gut and her woo-woo instincts.
And yet you're going to judge people on video from afar? Save it. You're adding pain to people who had enough pain. Next time I'll tell you what I really think.
Hey, one time for Frank Turek. Listen, I'm glad we have more sensible voices. I'm glad people are speaking up and it's not just me and John McCrae. And speaking of John McCrae, you absolutely should check out his video with Homicide Detective Reacts to the Conspiracies. This is with J. Winter Wallace, who's also a friend of the channel's, author of Cold Case Christianity. John McCrae has been doing an amazing job covering some of this sort of stuff. This video right here, We've Turned Distrust into Religion, is another great video I'd recommend to understand the psychology behind some of this stuff, to better understand psychologically what's happening with regards to where we are with institutions and why some of these conspiracies are so prevalent. And that's my deeper concern here, is that the more people who slide into this sort of thinking, the more it robs people of their agency. The more you think it's they, them, out there, governments, the feds, they're coming after people, the less control you start having and the worse it is for your mental and spiritual health. So why am I talking about this? One, because I think truth matters, but two, because I think the downstream effects of this on someone's mental state are terrible. And there's a strong overlap between my audience and the Candace Owens audience, and folks who will listen to Christian YouTube and Christian apologists and thinkers online, and folks who are entertaining the stuff that Candace Owens is pushing. I think this stuff matters deeply to how one walks out their own calling and their own purpose. And you guys know that's a lot of what my book is, Godly Ambition, about: making the most of your time, talent, and treasure, not being a victim, not letting the world dictate what you can and can't do with the things that God has entrusted you with. And this all comes down to our worldview, how we perceive the world, which then impacts our virtue, our day-to-day habits, and our day-to-day formation, and the impact that we make in the world, which is the theme of our Bless God Summit. My buddy John McCrae will be there. This is happening March 5th, 6th, and 7th in person in Oceanside, California. Wes Huff is doing a keynote. Ninjas and Butterflies are going to be there. KB and Southside Rabbi, Trizzleman Fitness. So if you don't have your tickets, go to blessgodsummit.com, get your tickets, and be sure to check out John McCrae's video over there. Again, he will be at the Bless God Summit as well, happening March 5th, 6th, and 7th in Oceanside, California. I'll see you there, all right? Peace.